The story of Halo 2 it's the story of Halo 1 told from the Covenant perspective.
Halo's story is one about salvation. It's a story of warriors with not a lot of options who have their backs up against the wall.
How much further must we heft this baggage?
In Halo 1, we focused on the humans' perspective, their fate at the hands of the Covenant, but we never really got too much into the Covenant side of the story itself.
Arbiter is a real challenge to the story because he's not the chief, he's not human.
Release the prisoner.
As the player at the start of the game, you don't realize that you're actually going to play this elite general who's been disgraced, but you get this quick glimpse at, that's the flip side of what happened to the Covenant at the end of the first game.
Halo's destruction was your error, and you rightly bear the blame. But ultimately, the terms of your execution are up to me.
I am already dead.
A couple levels into the game, you realize, oh my God, I get to play this guy.
People identify with humans. People care about humans more. So we really have to put the Arbiter in a position in the story where he matters and where the player cares about him.
You want to look at this guy and you want to see that, wow, he's just as cool as the Master Chief.
What would you have your Arbiter do?
This time around, it's essentially we're telling two stories that simultaneously. We're going back and forth from level to level.
Way over 90% of the time, there's going to be the player who's not paying any attention to the story. He's writing his own story. It's basically just an action movie. That's really a challenge in a game. Like when you stop the game and give the player your dose of the story, and you've succeeded when he's not thinking of those two things as different anymore.
What we are doing now in Halo 2 is so much more in-depth. We're bringing so much more character to each one of the entities.
For the sacred icon has been found. With it, our path is clear, our entry into the divine beyond guaranteed.
This new character here is the Prophet. They wanted some guy who is omnipotent looking and, really powerful, looks like, but really old and fragile.
Prophets are the ultimate bad guys.
Were it not for the Arbiters, the Covenant would have broken long ago.
In Halo 2, we are really making a bigger effort to give each one of those characters their more animalistic behavior, something that's more true to the actual character themselves.
He's just this big, brutish guy who is just, you could probably equate him to, a really badass biker you met in a bar and crossed the wrong way.
Brute is more of a combination of a gorilla type-like face, and he's got a skin of a pachyderm. The Mohawk. We were trying to think of a way to distinguish the Tartarus from the rest of the pack, and main bad guy in Gremlins 2 had a giant white Mohawk, and that worked extremely well. Everybody realized, who was the boss. I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's a cool character.
I think Tartarus is someone who you really will, at the beginning, trust a little bit, but then end up loathing, and I think putting a bullet in his head is going to be extremely satisfying for people.
Now would be a very good time to leave.
The Chief was extremely robotic. In Halo 1, I've made him a much more, not sappy, emotional character, but show some cracks in his armor. Explain a little bit more about his relationship with Cortana.
Apologize, but we're going to have to make this quick.
You look nice.
Thank you.
And his relationship with another character, Miranda, who we're introducing, the daughter of Captain Keyes from the first game.
Commander Miranda Keyes.
This is a much more human story.
Smile, would ya? Well, we still got something to smile about.
Master Chief, pretty much the consummate professional. Does his job, walks off, doesn't even get the girl. He's that cool. He doesn't need her.
Your pal. Where's he going?
This game's about making a hero of everybody who picks it up.
I'm really excited about the moment where the player puts down the controller and says, oh man, that was so awesome. I just beat the crap out of him.
We're going in. Get tactical, Marines!
And it's just fun. It's a great universe. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to live there, but it's fun to visit.
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
Stay down.
The loss of one of the sacred rings racked our hearts with grief.
Putting aside our sorrow, we renewed our faith in the prophecy that other rings would be found, and see how our faith has been rewarded. Halo!
In Halo 2, we've got a much bigger story to tell, and this story takes place in a lot of different places.
We're going to send the player on this galactic romp from the ruins of Halo to the Prophet's homeworld, High Charity, to these amazing Forerunner facilities in the atmospheres of planets. The player is going to transition from mission to mission, from one unexpected place to the next.
There is no doubt the storm will strike the facility.
We start out with a sheet of paper and just try to generate ideas. What are the cool things that could happen on this mission?
We'll bang our heads against the whiteboard and we'll call each other assholes, and that's crazy, and we can't do that, before we cobble together some unified plan which is going to work for the entire level.
There's all this sort of high-level stuff. When you get into building it, you gotta have good encounters. You gotta have good arcing fiction on a 3 to 5 encounter basis.
At some point, you'll get a surprise twist that sends you off in a different direction, and then it's got a really cool finale.
Oracle, what is Halo's purpose?
It's building an encounter that always keeps people thinking. It's a pretty big challenge. Is there anything actually going on in the room before I get there? Are guys just sort of patrolling? Is there another fight going on? You know, or a flood gonna bust through?
There's a lot of tricks you try and employ. We want the player to feel like they're choosing to go in a direction even when we're forcing them to. We guide the player with texture, with lighting, with AI, with sound. We obviously want to make it so that there are multiple paths through this space.
Every single one of those areas had to be modeled by an artist. I mean, there's someone went in there, and for every single wall you see, every single floor, every single light, every single piece of glass, like there was an artist there. Someone had to go through and make all that.
What I like most about Halo is that we don't build encounters and our AI doesn't act in a way that is very predictable.
So AI stands for artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is simply the discipline that tries to simulate intelligent processes. What we're literally doing is taking these characters and we're writing a piece of software that acts as their brain. It really is all about, when this happens, do this. When this other thing happens, do this.
That's a lot where the designers and artists step in, is deciding, well, we have all this cool technology, how are we going to use it, and how are you going to create this experience that the player can understand, that when he sees a certain type of thing, that if he shoots it, it's going to blow up and he's going to be able to destroy it and pass through it. Most of the Halo world is not destructible. You have to walk a fine line in deciding what things are going to be destructible and what's going to match the player's expectations for what's destroyable. When someone says, hey, the whole world is destructible, that's great. We've done our job. We've made them believe that.
So that kind of thing really excites me, is being able to create a real environment and not take shortcuts and not fake things, and actually just get in there and really try to make it a real place and a real exciting place for people to go.
If you can set it up so that each new situation is the problem that the player has to solve, he can do that over and over and over again.
All the events that we're trying to create, we just want people to feel like they're the only ones in the context of this game that could do what they're doing. It's all about you saving the universe. Again.
I think the days are gone where the guys say, honey, I'm going over to Jeff's house to go play cards. Now it's, honey, I'm headed over to Jeff's house to go play Halo.
Multiplayer is a little different because it's more like a sport in that you're, yes, the game is there, but it's basically helping you compete against your friends. You essentially get to rage against each other
this crazy combat world.
It's always fresh. Your opponents are always new, and they are always adapting.
Super addictive. We played it every single night for 1 year.
We actually kind of went out on a limb with Halo 2.
We've designed each one of our multiplayer maps so they fit within the single-player settings. So you could look at any of our maps and you could say, wait, I know that location.
Probably the most popular team game types is Capture the Flag. Or on almost every Halo 1 map, we had 2 bases that were pretty identical. And at the beginning of Halo 2, we were trying to think of different ways where we can make our maps more asymmetrical. It's fun to play as the attacker, and then it's fun to play as the defender.
You can never completely defend the base. Maybe there's 2 guys defending, but there's 3 ways in. You're always having to make these choices.
So the attackers start on the beach, and we give the attacker a warthog and 2 ghosts. And then we don't give the defender anything except the rocket launcher. And the beach is separated from the main complex by this seawall, so it gives the attackers a home, and then the defenders also have their base, which is their home. And then the vehicles have to come in through this one gate. The rocket launcher guy usually likes to get into position to attack that gate.
The HUD is the heads-up display. Let's say I'm in a firefight and I'm firing my weapon, and if I'm taking damage, the indicator turns red, so I can instantly see if my teammates are in trouble. And if one of them was to die, my friend there is dead. He shows up with a big red X over his head. Now, there's been many times I've been in a game and I'll be following my buddies right in to go get the flag, and then all of a sudden I'll see all these red X's appear on my screen. I'll go, you know, maybe now is not a good time to run through that door. Everybody likes to go to their buddy's house and, you know, order pizza and get something to drink and wipe the Cheetos off your hands and jabbing each other and calling them names. What we wanted to do was take that whole situation and bring it to Xbox Live. And so we tried to create what we called a virtual couch. We tried something completely new, which is this party system, where you and your friends kind of combine together online. And you can jump from game to game to game to game, and you and your friends will always be together.
You suck, man.
Watch your back, watch your back, watch your back.
It was really amazing to get online for the first time when there were a bunch of people online and just press the button that said, I want to play, go find me some other people that want to play, and choose a game type that's pretty cool, and just stick me in it as fast as you can. And to have that process happen in like 5 seconds was really incredible.
Guy in our base, go up, Rocket Man.
Raphael, man, find someone.
Proximity voice. You can get close to somebody in a game and talk to them, and only that person can hear you.
Nice grenade toss, though.
Proximity voice is going to make us gods. There's nothing like running up to somebody and killing them with the energy sword, and then 2 minutes later they kill you, and then they're standing over your body saying, eat it! How did you like that? See, this is my sword!
You're just an anonymous nobody unless we build ways for you to create an identity for yourself there.
We allow them to customize their color, their player emblem, so that when they go online, I'm the little red smiley face, and so people see my red smiley face and they go, hey, I remember that guy. My clan is a group of guys that form a team, and we may practice, we may join one of these matchmaking playlists.
It's hard to play with people that are lower skill level than you, even if you really like them, because you're probably going to lose more often and you're not going to have as much fun. If I play with Chris, the two of us are ranked together as a team, and if he's not as good as me, then that's going to take down your rank. The point is Chris sucks.
Flag drop.
Oh my God! Oh, I died because Carney was no good.
One of the cool things we're working on is integrating the live functionality of the game with the website, and we're kind of going to be a starting point for your Halo 2 bragging rights.
Other really cool things about map analysis or statistics on kills and weapons killed with that we may or may not get to, depending on how tired I get between now and September.
If we do this right, if we are able to really pull off the engine and Xbox Live and the social community, it's going to destroy everything else that's out there.
There is something somewhat magic It's like being an athlete in a sporting event.
Nice.
The rush that you get when you're about to win and your heart starts going boom, 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 boom.
Sniper!
And you know you're gonna just almost get it to score.
Did you assist it?
And then somebody snipes you from the corner. And you jump up and scream and throw your controller down. And you hate it, but you love it, and you gotta play again.